Hey, welcome. My name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, and you found the Sales Hunter podcast. Today, we're talking about AI and the future of sales. Specifically, we're going to be talking about ChatGBT, Jasper, and other tools. Oh, it's going to make a huge impact on sales. And to help me do that, we have Ford Saeks. He's known as the business growth expert. Ford is a research-based thought leader, an engine, an expert, an idea man and marketing machine. He helps businesses not by talking to them about success, but by talking to them about the steps to get there. And he's a Hall of Fame speaker. Hey, let's get rolling with the show right now.
You're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast with Mark Hunter, where the focus is to help you as a sales leader sell with confidence and integrity. And now here's your host.
Little do you realize that today's show could be being done 100% by artificial intelligence. No, it's not. Hey, I do want to say thank you so much to the listening audience. iTunes has named us as the #1 new sales podcast for 2022. Thank you so much for making us #1. And with that, let's get another #1 person in the room, Ford Saeks. Ford, welcome.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here.
Hey, we're talking about AI and the future of sales. And I know we were together in December at a conference, National Speaker Association, and you shared ChatGBT, and it lit the room up. Okay, are we going to have a job?
Well, first of all, by now with this broadcast, it's all over the news. People know, at least they've been introduced to the concept of what this is. So I want to just start by saying today, everybody, if you're watching this, we're not going to say, oh, here's what ChatGPT is and here's what it isn't. It's really about what do you need to think about as a business owner, executive, entrepreneur, or staff person. How is it going to impact your life? And so, Mark, the question that I get asked daily almost is, will this replace people? And I say it won't replace people. AI and machines won't replace people, but it will replace people not using AI. So it's a tool that needs to be used. So don't get seduced by technology. The key is it's just like your microwave or your car or your iPhone. It's a tool that's going to be used, and it is transforming things right now. But a lot of people are getting seduced by the technology instead of really looking at how can this work with my business. And so I tell people that it's really an intern. But I want to go back to you because you're running your show. But it's really, think about it like an intern, because it might write the wrong copy and it might not work. And if you rely too heavily on it, you're going to make a lot of mistakes.
Hey, I love what you said there, because you made the comment, it will replace people who do not use artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. That's pretty powerful. I mean, yeah. Wow. Hey, it looks like you want to go full screen on something. So, hey.
No, I'm good. I may push some buttons as I go. For those of you wondering, this is a live interview, and I want to be value added. It's your show, Mark.
There you go.
Let's keep going.
And for those of you listening to the podcast, as you drive I-405, don't look at your screen, okay? Because Ford's not that. No, it's okay.
That's right. Yeah. This is all I was going to show, that AI won't replace humans, but it will replace humans not using AI. That was all I was going to show you.
I tell you what. See, that's a tweetable moment, and I like that. I like that a lot. Now, okay, so how do we in sales? How do we use it effectively? And again, what's it going to morph into? Because that's the question. I had breakfast this morning with a university professor, and the specific reason he wanted to meet with me, he says, "Hey, I got to understand ChatGPT better." And I go, "Okay, you better be checking out this podcast I'm doing at Ford Saeks today." So yeah, so you have some smart people paying attention.
Yeah, so I would say is that it's going to impact, and of course, marketing creates leads, sales helps you build the relationships and close the leads. So, keep it, so Steven's saying I use it for proposals, employee values. It can think about it. It can do HR, it can do operations, it can do production, it can write standard operating procedures, it can come up with interview questions. But the biggest thing I need to help make sure everybody understands is the information you get, A, might be wrong, B, absolutely can be plagiarized, because it's using content from a lot of different sources, and it's trying to write original content, but it's no more plagiarism than if you went to college and you read a bunch of books and now you're repeating what you learned. So it's still useful. So, there's some definite do's and don'ts. What I would tell people is don't get seduced by technology, and that ChatGPT is continually learning every day. It's growing and it's changing and it's evolving. And there are a lot of derivatives of ChatGPT. So like one we've been using for a long time, Mark, is Jasper, which used to be Jarvis and it turned into Jasper. I use Quillbot. I use Copy.ai. And there's like a host of them that I already pay for because each of them give me different nuances, but the underlying engine. So think about like a car. ChatGPT is the car or the engine, excuse me. And you can take that engine and you can put it in a bunch of different cars. So the cars are the different websites that are out there. And there's tons of them right now.
Oh, I love what you're talking about there. Now let's spin this around. Does this replace customer service? Because if I'm a customer and I've got a question, do I call this 1-800 number or listen to a chatbot who I never get through, or do I just go to ChatGBT or something of that nature?
I think it's going to definitely impact the customer experience as more people get used to it, as it gets smarter. Chatbots, and I've been in digital marketing now since '94, before most of the listeners were born. Sorry, I'm aging myself. And I would just say that it's a great tool, and the chatbots are getting smarter. So what I was going to reference is chatbots have been around because we've been building websites at our agency now for years, and people just, I don't want a chatbot, and it wasn't smart, and they had to learn it. And it's so stupid. You call the company's phone number and they say, visit us online. Then you go online and it says, use our chat. And the chat says, call us. And it's like this cluster mess of arrangement. But now the responses from the chatbots are better, and it is going to help the customer experience. If it solves the problem for the customer and makes it more frictionless and shortens that, it will improve the customer experience. So it's all about sales for you and our audiences, you and I. And so these technologies will definitely improve the customer experience. They will shorten the sales cycle. They will improve your proposals. They will improve the narratives. I can say, write me a 3 email cold call script to franchise brands that hire speakers, and I can, prompt it. So the concept is about being a prompt engineer and really looking at it, how you can craft the prompts.
Yeah. Now you said something very detailed because you asked ChatGBT something very specific. And I think that's what some people are getting wrong because they're asking it a generic question. But you went through a very detailed description of what you wanted ChatGBT to come back with you. Is that the secret?
The secret is being a prompt engineer where you have the dialogue with it and you tell it exactly what you're wanting to do. So for example, in a copywriting, because I'm a marketer, there's a philosophy of problem, agitate, solve, or problem, credibility, transformation. So when you're selling, right? So if I'm selling anything, what's the problem? And being on the Sales Hunter podcast, if you're in sales, you have to be able to articulate to your prospects in the language that they use exactly what the problems are. So obviously that's going to help the problem. Well, the credibility is, hi, I'm Mark Hunter. I've got 300,000 people on LinkedIn. And today we're going to be talking about ChatGPT. That's the credibility. And then the transformation. Before here today, you might have been confused about ChatGPT. And after, you're going to be better prepared as an executive to know how to make decisions. So it's problem, credibility, transformation. Well, you can go to ChatGPT and say, I need a sales letter script, or I need a cover letter for a proposal, or whatever it is, whatever your B2B, B2C sales, whatever you're looking for. And you can say, follow the problem, agitate, or follow the problem, credibility, transformation method of copywriting, and write a short sales letter with metaphors on blank. And you're going to get pretty good copy to start with. And the key here is you just need to look at the copy and ask yourself, yeah, I would have said that. So if you read it and you say, I agree with that, that makes sense, that sounds like me and my voice, then it's good. Now, someone like me who's been on the internet a long time, I can say, act as Ford Saeks and write it, because I'm known in that market. So it can actually emulate my style, which, as those people know right now, I'm kind of direct. But I'll leave it back to you.
Well, okay, now that's powerful because The more we put our own content out there, for instance, I blog continuously. So if I were to say, write content in the voice of Mark Hunter, the sales hunter, it would go back and scrape stuff that I've done.
It will scrape stuff, and it's more likely to pull your content. And the other thing that I like is, so if I do a post, so I wrote an article on 7 myths of your digital footprint, let's just say, and I wrote an article similar to that. Well, I can take that post now, go into ChatGPT, and say, write me 5 social media posts using hashtags and creative titles with metaphors, using this content. So now it's repurposing my content. It's not, plagiarizing anybody else. It was my article, my thoughts. It's my original thought, but I'm using it like I would an intern and people. So just like the person who's standing in my office right now, I'm gonna put. I said, come get some B-roll, and so Alex is here. Wave to the camera, Alex, because you are live and in person. So just like that, I said, Alex, get some B-roll for me. So I'm going to take excerpt from this episode, and then I'm going to repurpose it. And I'm going to use a program, an AI, to transcribe my recording. And then I'm going to use I'm going to say, write me 5 social media posts to promote Mark Hunter's The Sales Hunter podcast. And then it's going to give me all the content. So it's going to save me time.
Okay. Now I can spin that around because I've always wanted to be like Ford Saeks. So I
thank
could
you.
say, give me your content, right?
Yeah, you can. And that's the danger. So what it's doing right now is it's raising the bar for everybody, because now anybody can write content. Anybody can be a master of social media. And so it's going to make the personal face-to-face and video more important. So yes, you can write blogs and you can come up with ideas for episodes in your YouTube channel or TikTok or Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or Twitter or Pinterest or Snapchat. I can go on for hours. But the key is it's going to make the personal touch more valuable. I have some of my clients that are posting now saying 100% written by a human now, because they're wanting to let their audience know. Now, I don't think that's going to have much shelf life. I think you can do that today, but no one's going to believe it anyway in 60 days because of the growth of this thing, which is why we're talking about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the explosive nature of this, and we've got people chiming in. Is anyone else facing an issue with ChatGBT being at capacity? Yeah, I'm facing it all the time. Everybody's saying that. When does ChatGBT or any of these other tools scale enough to where we really feel comfortable with the content and usable?
Well, I think it's getting faster every day. You're definitely going to have capacity issues. Now, I'll tell you something. So the comment you just had up that you used with your comment that came across the screen, I didn't get the name real quick, but not that one, but that was the one previously. But so Erica says, is anyone facing issues with capacity? Yeah, it's at capacity all the time. So here's what I've done. 1, I've got 3 different accounts. 2, I log in different browsers into the account. So I'll do Internet Explorer, which is now Edge or whatever. So I'll log in with that. And then I'll log in with Google. 3, I've started to thank ChatGPT for the responses, and I don't get kicked out anymore, which is just, now there's no truth to this. I have no technical knowledge to say this works. But after I get my responses, I've been saying, hey, thank you. That was really good. And it says, great. Let me know if you have any other questions. And I've stayed, it hasn't kicked me out. So it's like, knock on wood. I don't want to say that now and then, get knocked out in 10 minutes. But, I think you're going to find that I heard there was a rumor about a pro version for $42. I jumped at it. I tried to find it. It's not anywhere. You can't, and not that I can get to. But the real question for our listeners is, how much would you pay? I'd love to have you type a comment as you're watching this live. How much would you pay per month to get premium access to ChatGPT and not get kicked out? So I'm actually going to ask you, how much would you ask? Well, I'll answer that question in a second, but how much would you pay, Mark, to get access to this?
I would pay several $100s a month. Easy.
I'd pay $1,000 a month in a heartbeat because of what I do. I easily, I'd pay $1,000 a month, prepaid $12,000 a year, just so I can get access to it. Not because the tool is that great, not because, it's going to replace me as a human, but the more you learn of how it can help you, it's now like having 10 other employees on my team, because I can get things done quickly. Like I was on a call with with a client. I have a $15,000 consulting package that I do for strategy. And Mark, the client got on the call. We were doing Zoom, and I'm busy back to back. And so I said to the client, hey, I've got a hard stop in 20 minutes. We can always reschedule more time. And so what happened was, thanks for the prices that you're saying. So the lady got off the call. We had a good call. And then I got a nasty gram in my email. Hey, I spent $15,000 with this, and you're telling me you only have 20 minutes. Why am I not important? They felt that maybe they weren't as important as they should be. Now, my typical response would have been, I would have said something direct like, hey, that's what it takes if you work with me. But I didn't. I took her response, went to ChatGPT, and I said, I'm a consultant. This person paid $15,000 for strategy advice. Can you please craft a sincere apology in my voice? Or I didn't say in my voice. I said sincere apology. And the way that it worded, thanks, Alex, the way that it worded the message, I wouldn't have been able to do it that fluently and that quickly. So I pasted the message, sent it back to the lady and said, hey, I'm really sorry. And she was like, oh, I understand. Things happen. But just that anxiety of worrying about that person being confused or mad, or I was like, holy crap. I see a lot more uses. So right now, as marketers and salespeople, we want to, let's write sales letters, or let's write cold scripts. But think about it like an employee. And so in the side of ChatGPT, I have accountant, HR, marketing, social media. And so I keep threads. And when I want to go back to a topic, I go to the thread. And then now I'm getting much better responses because I already trained it. So I'm not starting over every time.
Wow. Okay. You've just shared a number of key insights. We're getting a lot of comments. People are asking, hey, how can I use it in a travel agency? How do I use it in real estate?
So what I want them to do. So in real estate, so if you want to figure out how to get more listings or how to get more prospects, or where can I find events that I can network with locally, or give me 5 openings for to what to say when I'm networking. Or maybe the gentleman who was just on the screen, maybe you're going to do a lunch and learn, or maybe you're going to do a referral program. Write a letter that I can send to referral partners, asking them what their ideal client is, because I'm a real estate agent and I'm working with a lot of homeowners, and I realize that you do closet renovations and I do kitchen remodeling. Well, now you've got the concept. So it doesn't matter what the business is. What you have to be thinking about is, so first of all, sales and marketing, the whole purpose of marketing is to give people enough information that they can make a good decision. The whole purpose of sales, give people enough information they can make a good decision. So those of you listeners that are new to me, that I'm now getting influence from Mark's wide following, you're not going to spend 15 grand necessarily unless you listen to what I'm saying. You're like, oh, I want to go check this guy out. So you have to ask yourself, what information do I need to deliver that will create the response that I want that person to take? And where's the balance of what information do they need? A lot of people fail in sales because they give too much information in the wrong order, and the prospect says no, because they have fear of conflict, fear of change, fear of work, and fear of failure. And so ChatGPT is think of it like an intern and someone who works for you, and you as the executive owner, whatever your position is, has to use the critical thinking to say, yes, this helped. That makes sense, Mark? I know it's a long road to a tiny house.
No, I love what you're talking about here. And again, we're getting a lot of comments coming in. I don't have a chance to put them all up here on the screen, but let's flip this around. The customer can use ChatGPT, and the customer says, hey, I got all the information I need. I don't need to contact a salesperson. Do we run the risk that customers feel they don't need salespeople?
Well, so here's the thing. You have to map out the customer journey and look for it to be frictionless. And I think it has to do with the price of the product. If I'm selling something that's 15 grand or 150,000 or 1.5 million, the amount of information that people are going to need is different than if I'm selling something for $26. Mm-hmm. So there are places where the technology is going to help, or the communication is going to be seamless without you. The question is, can people make an informed decision without you? And here's what I would tell everybody. You should be using more video. You should be using more video. You should be using video sales letters where they see you looking into the camera, not talking as fast as I am today on the podcast, everybody, because I'm just excited about the topic, but where you're really delivering 80% around the problems and the challenges, the economic challenges that you know that your prospects have, and then the solution of whatever your product or service is. So use ChatGPT to come up with the script, but you need to be the one who translates it and makes it work.
I love what you said, because that just answered the question here from Jake. How does it help individual contributors close deals? Because it gives me more information. Because I think we're going to find ourselves, I always talk that, a lot of the work we have to do is we have to actually de-educate the customer, because the customer's gone out and done all this research and they think they know what they need. And
that's the biggest thing I was going to say. Yeah, you're right. They think they know because they did some research.
Right. And so de-education is going to become more of a role for us in sales. But to do that, we got to be armed with understanding ChatGPT and using all of the tools. It's like we don't go into our business today without using Google search. I see ChatGPT as just the next element of Google
search. So I'm gonna be a contrarian for a second. And Google is searching what's out there and bringing up other people's information. Think of AI and machine learning. So we're saying ChatGPT, but you could replace it with Jarvis or Quillbot or one of the 100 other companies that are out there now, and more every single day. And what I would say is you need to look at what are the top challenges facing your prospects. What common objections do you get? Go into ChatGPT and say, write me 7 responses for this objection. And then write me 10, and until you get to the response that makes sense. Again, the purpose of marketing and sales is to elicit the response. The amount of copy and what you say, or the volume, is how hard is it? What do they need to know before they make a decision? And then at what point do I want to share certain things? So you have to map out the customer journey, the sales journey, so you understand where that works. There's a lot of technology being put into lenses. It's going to be in our cars. It's, if you fast forward this, and I mean within 3 to 6 months, I'm not talking years now. I'm talking, this thing is accelerating at a huge speed. So we're calling ChatGPT, but it really has to do with how is AI going to impact our relationships and our communication. So what I was going to tell you, the last piece, and I'll turn it back to you. You have to be able to preempt your sales. So when you're talking about sales, if I know what the objections are, how do I preempt it? How do I preempt the objection? So if I know someone's going to say, I need to talk to my spouse, or I want to think it over, or if you're using chat to understand how to preempt it, then you can work it into your presentation. And then it lets the prospect know that you really do understand the top challenges facing them. So as an action step, I recommend that everybody creates a sales dictionary, which is what are the top questions that I get asked? What are the benefits of my product? What are the features? What's my value proposition? And keep it all in one Word document, or, Pages document, whatever you use, because then you can go back to that as a dictionary, which is why I call it a dictionary. And every time you're crafting a sales presentation, you can improve it.
I love that, because you're creating your own FAQ. And by the end of the day, Ford and I will have out an app. It'll only be $299 per week.
That's right.
And we will allow you into exclusive ChatGPT conversations. So look for that link by the end of the day, because we're just going to go to ChatGPT and ask it how to build the app for us. So, hey, we've had a great conversation. Hey, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you? And don't say go to ChatGPT.
No. I'm going to put this on your show. Now, this is dangerous because you've got a freaking big following. This is a link to 30-minute slot with me. I'm going to say it on the recording. I'll spend 15 minutes, but I'm not going to spend 30 minutes with everybody who blocks 30 minutes. It's crazy, because I could get hundreds of people doing it. But if you have questions for me beyond this, obviously you can connect with me on any social media, or you can go to Talk with Ford. Now, if you go to Talk with Ford, it's a link to Acuity, which schedules time and does all the automatic scheduling, so I don't have to play phone tag with people. The one I really need to use is 15 with Ford, but I haven't updated my slide deck here to do that. So sorry, that's the way it's going to be. Everybody who got this on the live broadcast now knows. But connect with me on LinkedIn. So if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, go to type my name, and it's been on the screen here for the whole episode.
Yeah,
and connect with me.
Saeks for those of you.
Yeah, it's an easy one to misspell. That's why I have my overlay right there so that everybody can see it. So yeah, just go check me out, and I'd love to connect and continue the conversation with you.
Good. Hey, you've been listening to Ford Saeks. He is without a doubt the business growth expert as we've been talking about artificial intelligence. And if you can do this in 10 seconds, give us one prediction on the future of artificial intelligence.
I think it's going to be infecting every single technology piece. It's going to transform our lives. And I think that we're sitting at, this is going to be bigger than Google, the internet, and social media all wrapped into one. It's going to be in every device. It's going to be part of our world. It's going to be it's just going to impact. It's going to ruin relationships. It's just going to be, you're going to have your own friends. It's going to do everything.
Wow.
We're at the birth of a transformation right now.
We really are. And with that, we want to say, hey, thank you for listening. I do trust you value the content that we've shared, and you'll take a moment to subscribe and rate the show on your favorite podcast app. Hopefully, we've shared with you some insights. I know we've shared with you some insights that you can use every week. Hey, every week you get 2 episodes. One, a short episode from me on a single sales topic, and a second episode each week with a thought leader, like today we've had with Ford Saeks speaking about artificial intelligence. With that, we want to say thank you so much. You've been listening to the Sales Hunter podcast. I'm Mark Hunter, and today's guest, Ford Saeks. Thank you for being in the studio with us.